Well, hello again everybody, and I'd like to start off by thanking everybody for the input you've had on the previous videos where you've all been helping me find circuit diagrams and giving me some advice, and that's all been very much appreciated, so thank you very much for that. So you can see that after all the bitching and moaning and whinging that I did and wailing and gnashing of teeth, I managed to actually get this power supply out, and it actually came out quite easily. These are the two studs that I was talking about in the previous videos, and I said they were kind of just stuck into some grommets in part of the chassis, and this whole back panel actually came out as one unit, but it wasn't obvious before, and I'm guessing it's because it's the same colour as the whole back panel. It wasn't really that clear that it split at these, you can see the mounting holes here. So all I actually had to do in the end was I just undid these, I think there's 6 screws, 2 there, 2 there, 2 at the back, and the whole unit slid out. There was a couple of connectors I had to undo. Let me just see if I can find them. Oh, can't even see them. Okay, there was literally just 2 connectors here and here that I had to disconnect, and the whole thing just came out. So that was, in the end, it was all quite easy, that. Now Scott at DEFPOM left some remarks, and he said that these capacitors looked a little bit bulgy, so I'm going to bring you in for a close-up. What I've done is I got a knife and basically I cut this material off the top of them so we could actually have a look at the cans. And you can see that they've got a mark across them, which is where internally they've been pre-scored. Those are like rupture points. The idea is if too much pressure builds up in the capacitor, the capacitor will split against that rupture point there, rather than just pressurising and then going off like a grenade. So it is a designed in weakness, and I think it might have just been the light catching. I don't know, maybe Scott you'd like to comment again. Now where these score lines are, I can actually feel it. It's a little bit of a, well, it's almost ribbed for her pleasure. So you can see there's a score line here, and if I just put the end of this ruler to act as a straight edge, you can see that the ruler does rock on the top of it. So at each end there's probably a couple of millimetres when you rock it from one side to another. But I don't have another capacitor to compare it to, so I don't know if that's normal or not. So that one rocks a bit. Interestingly enough, if I put the ruler parallel to the score line, there's a tiny amount of rock, but there's much more rock against where that score line is on the top of the capacitor. So I'm guessing that is indicating there's a little bit of a bulge. So I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper now, aren't I? And to me, it looks like I'm going to have to remove this mains input, and by that I mean the 230 volt input. You can see we've got that's sharp. We've got the IEC connector up here, there, and then it goes into this this filter, this little common mode filter that's got the X-rated caps in it, and then it's got some quite clever features on it here. I was looking at the diagram yesterday, and if you have a look at the circuit diagram, you can see that there's somewhere in here, I haven't found it yet, there's a relay, because it's got a soft start mechanism on it, and yeah, soft starts are cool, aren't they? It'd be a good idea that while this fan's off to straighten it, all the mesh covering on the back looks as though it's been jumped on repeatedly. I hope you're watching this, guys, because I'm not going to remember how to put it back together. Okay, let's put that out of the way. I kind of think there must have been an easier way than that, surely. See, unfortunately, I'm already building up now a fair collection of little screws and spacers. They're never going to go back. I was trying to keep them organised, but I think I failed that test already. So let's just try and collect them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting there, aren't we? But we're still not there. We're still not there. I don't know if this is the right size. Oh, this is imperial and metric. This is a 5BA nut spinner I'm using. Could be 5BA, couldn't it? I mean, 19H is inferior. It would be M3. Maybe just 5BA is close enough. So, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Does anybody know? Are we there yet? Okay, another one there. I'm going to lose so many washers. They're just everywhere. Spring washers on everything. And they're all going to be really fiddly to go off. You know, these are the types of spring washers that you lose one and it ends up and it lands on something critical and just ends up shorting it to ground, and you go, oh bloody hell, I've just blown the whole thing up for the sake of a bloody spring washer. Ta-da! Was that a spring washer? It was. Oh, that's interesting. Looks as though I think I can see a bit of rework on this board. In fact, I'm sure I can see a bit of rework on it. What I usually do, I usually collect all the nuts and bolts up really carefully, and then I'll put this on the edge of my bench, and I'll get up and to grab my brew or my hobnobs, and yeah, they'll go everywhere, won't they? That'll be it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why I'm saving these, because most of them aren't going back. I just know, you know, they just know. So finally, we've got our circuit board off. We're in a bit of a better position to have a look round it here. I think these two transistors here, again, I've got circuit diagrams now, but I just don't have them in front of them. I'm guessing that these are part of the switch mode power supply arrangement, maybe. I've just noticed this is a relay here, and I remember this 100 ohm resistor, and I said earlier it's got a soft start mechanism on it, which I don't know, simple minds, but I think it's cool. And yeah, there's a 100 ohm resistor, and here's a resistor that does the soft starting. So I'm guessing that maybe these two are both switching transistors. Don't exactly know. I think it's got an IFR number on them, which IFR brain fart, IRF 443. So that's IRF 443, and the other one underneath is an IRF 443. And then is that other thing a date code 8725G? 8725G. I think these things were made around 1985. So could that be, I don't know, 25th week of 1987? I don't know, maybe. I'm rubbish at date codes. Right, okay. Finally, we should be able to see a little bit better this diode that's let go. So let's do that. Let's bring you in. Going down, women's underwear. So this is the one that's gone short circuit, and I'm wondering if I can hold the board. Are you seeing it now? I think it's coming on camera. Are you seeing that kind of stain under it, or this at the side of it? Just a black kind of metallized mark. That's what led me to it. That's what made me think perhaps that had gone. And then we did a continuity test on it, and we proved it. So I think we'll whip them out, because they're shorted across the capacitor, and we proved it's a dead short. So I think we've got to take him out, and then we can test those capacitors maybe. I'm going to use one of my lifelines and ask the audience here. Just looking at these capacitors, I can see that these capacitors have got 4 legs on them. There's if I look down there, I can see there's 4 prongs sticking out of them. Now, on valve radios, they used to do things like they'd have 2 capacitors in one can. I suspect these aren't that, but I can't say that I've seen capacitors before that have got 4 legs, you know, because you only need 2 legs on a capacitor. It looks as though 2 of the legs have got a positive rail there and negative rail there, and then there's 2 other legs which just seem to be through the board and something. I assume they're just for mechanical attachment, but I don't know. Leave it in your comments. Are these types of capacitors with 4 legs, are they still available? Actually, has it got more than 4 legs? No, it's got lots more than 4 legs. It's got 1, 2. Oh no, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I dribble on about nothing, don't I? So you can see that there's 4 mounting holes. It looks as though there's some alternative mounting, so maybe you can use those 2 pads, or you can use well, the 4 that are in use at the moment. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Come on, wiggle, wiggle. There's a hole in my diode, my diode, my diode. There's a hole in my diode, there's a hole. Hopefully around there somewhere you'll be able to see the mark that it's left where it puked its guts. Yeah, I think you can see that. 4 meg. 2 meg. Falling. 0.5 ohms. Of course, these are 0.5 ohms. So is that those capacitors that are dead? I mean, it's quite likely, isn't it? Or is there something else gone? Could we have a... I'll have to double check the circuit. Maybe one of these switching transistors could be putting a short on something. Right. I'm going to have to bit wiggly now. Wiggle, wiggle. Oh, these are horrible to get out, aren't they? Come on. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle it. Wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle. Okay. Yeah, that helps me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One's like artificial live. Anybody seen a capacitor mounting like that? I haven't. I guess you can't get it wrong, can you? And is that all about polarisation, so we can't get it wrong? I could get it wrong. I'm sure with you know, my level of brute force ignorance, I'm sure I could get this in the wrong way around if I tried. I've got no doubt. Don't even know which terminals it used. Doesn't seem to be a short circuit. I bet I took out the wrong capacitor, didn't I? Did I take out the wrong capacitor? You are a moron. Well, it's 50-50, isn't it? I did take out the right capacitor. Right, okay. So it can only be this one. If it isn't this one, I'm looking at things like switching transistor and possibly bridge rectifier, but doubt it. I don't think that other capacitor is going to have a short circuit on it. I think I'm getting better with this solder sucker. I think a few people said in the past I was a bit trigger happy and you know, I was going ahead and getting sucked off a bit prematurely. So I'm actually taking a bit more time here to try and let the heat transfer down into the you know, into the leg of the component and onto the board, and I think that has actually helped. Ooh, it is frightening taking these off. Right, that's the fault gone. Still got a short circuit. So it appears that we've got a dead short across this capacitor bank, but the other bank of capacitors is okay. Now we've removed one of those diodes, the one that had puked its guts out and clearly blown up, and that short appears to have lifted now. But I've realised we exposed the other diode here, and I've got no reason to believe that it's blown up, but let's just try it. Again, I'm getting 0 ohms across it. I'm getting the same reading as I had across this one here. So I'm wondering if we should just pop this diode out as well, because maybe when one diode went short circuit, it took the other one with it. So maybe we'll just I'm going to buy a pair of these. I'm going to replace them. So let's just take that out and we'll take it out. Maybe if we just lift a leg on it. No, we'll take it out. I was going to say maybe we'll just lift one leg, but we'll take it out and see if the fault goes. Yeah, so it came out easy then. Has that got a short circuit on it? Da-da! So that's dead as well. So as our short across our rail gone now? Should have took that out earlier, shouldn't I? Oh well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Okay, so let's just see if our short circuit across our supply rails has gone. Oh, look at that. The fat lady sings. Right, okay. So maybe we just need to order a couple of these diodes. These are, I think they said, what was it? TVS diodes? TV transient surge? I don't know. Forget. Don't exactly know what they are. There's some kind of Zener. Don't know what TVS diodes are though. We're getting there. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. We will. I'm going to go and put all these under my wife's pillow, and hopefully in the morning the the RS fairy will have been and brought me some components. So until then, oh no, not until then. Somebody tell me about these capacitors. These with 5 leggies jobbies. Where do we buy these? Alright then, see you later. Thanks, bye for now.